This is definitely another one of those to and ing verb tense rules. The way I know that is we have a to, we have some ings, and then some other ones. So maybe past and present matters here, but I'm not going to think about that first. I'm going to think about the structure of the sentence first before I worry about when it takes place. I need to think like what makes this a sentence. So this is one long sentence. We got to read the whole thing. In 1990, California native and researcher Ellen Ochoa left her position as chief of the Intelligent Systems Technology branch at a NASA research center to join the space agency's astronaut training program. So this is what happens when you speak English as a native language and you just kind of know how it sounds. These answers should be pretty obvious. But there's a chance that if we had a choice E, joining, that might sound good too. So let's take a look at that. I'm going to cut some of this out. In 1990, California native and researcher. So how about in 1990, Ellen Ochoa left her position as chief of the Intelligent Systems Technology, so as chief at a NASA research center, joining the space agency's astronaut training program. I know I kind of interrupted myself there. Let me try it again. In 1990, Ellen Ochoa left her position as chief at a NASA research center, joining the space agency's astronaut training program. To me, that sounds fine. And it would be fine. That's not wrong to say that. But if we write it down, then we would need a comma before the word joining, so right after the word center, in order to make that correct. So this is the difference between the to version of a verb and the ing. The ing is usually used, in cases like this at least, to add on an extra clause. And we need the punctuation to show, here's this extra clause, it's extra. Whereas the to join form is going to need more of a pairing, right? She left to join. Those two verbs are together, and that's why we use the to version of a verb in many cases, is it's a kind of pairing of two verbs. The first verb is the main verb of the sentence. It's kind of anchoring things. And then the to version is kind of giving a little bit of an extra clause, but it's not as clear as when we have punctuation. But they behave the same way. And so sometimes there will be questions like this where the only difference between the to version being correct and the ing version being correct is whether or not they gave us a comma beforehand. So just remember, the comma usually goes with the ing. In this case, I don't think we'd really be tempted by B, even though it's kind of like trying to do that. And the reason it's not C and D is we have a verb. It's the word left, right? So another version of the sentence that could have used something like C or D would have been in 1990, Ellen Ochoa, leaving her position as chief at a NASA research center, joined the space agency's astronaut training program. I bet that that's what they want you to think. That's kind of the trap. And if we were to do that, then left becoming leaving, right? If I made this into leaving, I would need some commas before and after to kind of show that this is another extra clause. This is the same thing with joining, right? These ing versions are extra clauses. They're not strong enough to anchor a sentence by themselves. So we need punctuation to kind of show where they connect. But if we get rid of that verb left as the main verb, then we need a new main verb, and that would need to be joined or joins in order to do that. So this is all complicated, but with practice, you can kind of hear the difference. That's why I'm going through the wrong answers and trying to twist the sentence to make them right, so you can hear how it would change and how those changes would change the answer as well. So hopefully that helps. If you have questions, definitely let me know in the comments, or watch my lesson on the to and ing rule. It's very, very good.